Greetings, it is I, Orkar Isper, your guide in the Sanguine Archives, where we explore the lore of the World of Darkness by White Wolf from a perspective of and focus on vampires, mainly Clan Baali. So let me be your guide through the memories of the blood for tonight. In this venture, Demonic Whispers, I will give you a short introduction to the Baali, what they bring to the table and why you should bother with this mysterious and often unfairly disliked clan, their unique flair and epic story contributions. The Baali are a clan shrouded in mystery, misconceptions and stereotypes. So many people don't know what they are good for. Well, did you ever want a character more seductive than a Toreador? Don't get me wrong, the Toreador are good at what they do, but the Baali are the true masters of seduction. They're not a Toreador stripper, they know what they do. Did you ever want a master of corruption who puts Setites to shame? A vampire so debauched that the Giovanni blush? Cainites who enjoy a cuisine that the Nagaraja hate and they will vomit. A creature so cruel and inhuman that the Tzimitzi are appalled. Blood sorcerers whose knowledge surpasses even that of the Tremere and their power surpassing even the Assamite blood sorcerers. Villains so evil that they can unite the Sabbath and the Camarilla together. Beings so dark that the La Sombra cower in fear of their shadows. Strategists so skilled that the Inconnu admire them. Someone with allies across franchises that allow you to introduce crossover stories. Maybe you want a perfect plot hook to get more lore, background history and other supernaturals involved. Are you in need of a fantastic plot twist? Or maybe you just want to shock your players and their characters or even draw them to the dark side. Do you want to explore the human psyche and its darkest depths? Or maybe you just want to dabble in the occult on a whole new level and explore the darkest areas of the world of darkness, for after all, that is the most fun about it. Well, the Baali can provide all of that and much more indeed. The Baali can deepen a lot of the points that may already be in your game or deepen them to a whole new level and as well add some very unique features that only they have. As example, Dark Thaumaturgy. While in theory Dark Thaumaturgy is possible to get outside the clan Baali by other infernalists, it's extremely unlikely to happen, because in order to achieve that, you'd have to be quite the expert in demonology, to know which demons actually know Dark Thaumaturgy and more importantly, know it on a level that they can teach it to you. More importantly, they must be willing to do so, and you have to summon and bind them to somehow make them a permanent servant of yours for many years, because it will take likely decades for you to actually learn Dark Thaumaturgy through a demonic tutor. On top of that, Dark Thaumaturgy is a very valuable secret and demons don't share it lightly. And while in theory other vampires can teach it, they won't, as it would piss off the demon who originally taught them and invite all sorts of trouble. Not to mention the Dark Thaumaturgy is very valuable and the demons knew it, so you have to offer something to make them teach you. And finally, how many users of regular Thaumaturgy are there outside Clan Tremere? Exactly. And it's much less Dark Thaumaturgy users outside Clan Baali. That being said, it is absolutely unlikely that anyone outside Clan Baali actually gets access to Dark Thaumaturgy. Dark thaumaturgy is basically regular thaumaturgy and allows you to learn all regular thaumaturgical paths and rituals, and allows you to use your dark thaumaturgy rating instead of the regular thaumaturgy rating to do these things. It is, however, different from where it comes from, and also allows you to learn unique paths that only exist in dark thaumaturgy. That can come with a price though, like nightmares, a visible hellfire flame in your aura, or a hard time resisting the beast, depending on the dark thaumaturgical paths that you actually learn. More importantly, you can learn all regular paths of thaumaturgy with this, so you can be extremely versatile in what you do. In theory, demons can also teach more than just dark thaumaturgy. They can definitely teach Koldunic sorcery, as the Krainas ultimately come from demons, and it was taught to the Tzimisce by Kupala. And they may even be able to teach Assamite blood sorcery at the storyteller's discretion. There's also a question if they can practice hedge sorcery. And while it says that hedge sorcerers lose their ability to cast mortal magic upon their embrace, it never says that demonic hedge magic is inaccessible as a vampire. So if you have been a sorcerer who dabbled into infernalism before, you may actually be able to keep some of the hedge magic that you had before. Sorry for that. As you may have noticed by now, I'm also not a native speaker of English. I'm actually Austrian, thus meaning my preferred language is of course German. But I will get into that and the connection between the Baali and the Tremere later. For now, follow me deeper and let me tell you about apostates. Apostates is a thing that makes the Baali really unique. No other clan can perform the re-embrace that permanently makes any vampire of Baali blood and clan Baali. Technically, you replace one in-clan discipline of your choice and make it an out-of-clan discipline while keeping all dots you have in that discipline, and take one level of Daimonion instead. This makes the Baali the most versatile clan of them all, as they can have pretty much any set of disciplines you want. Your Baali is bad at fighting? Well, make him a Bruiser apostate with Daimonion, Celerity and Potence. Need a tank? Try a Ventrue apostate with Daimonion 6 and immunity to fire. Good. And of course a high fortitude rating, that can be quite fun. Or you may play an Asaniali for God mode, because they get Obtenebration, which means that they have access to the Shadow armor and the Shadow form, which makes them highly resistant to damage of all types and immune to any damage but fire, magic and sunlight. And as a Baali, you also get immunity to fire, leaving you only vulnerable to sunlight and magic. Good luck killing that. More importantly though, apostates make the Baali frightening, as you can be turned against your will and be used as a scapegoat. Imagine the kindred of the city find out that there is a Baali among them. Well, you might be turned and left behind, blamed for all the things that your second sire did, giving him a new chance at the cost of your unlife. And then there is of course the double masquerade. You like the secret agent style cover of being a vampire amongst mortals? Trying to fit into mortal society, posing as something that you are not? Well, a Baali gets a second masquerade, masquerading as being a vampire of a different clan, because of course you can't tell anyone you are a Baali, because that would lead to your death very quickly. You can even have a triple masquerade, masquerading as a normal Baali if you are from the Order of the Inner Light, which are killed on sight by all other Baali. So that can get quite confusing. Baali can also open a door for epic stories. If you want to leave behind the petty squabbles night by night of your concrete jungle, the Baali open a door into a much bigger world, as they openly cooperate with black spiral dancers, Fomori, Nefandi and other wicked things that aid them. They deal with the Tal Mahera and can even unite Sabath and Camarilla. Not to mention that they deal with powers that go beyond most vampires. Baali are also fantastic for plot twists. I can't stress enough how amazing it is to have a long-term friend of the coterie turn out to be a Baali, or maybe the prince of the city or a Primogen. Sometimes the sheer horror of an antagonist turning out to be a Baali is worth it, but mostly you can use this to challenge what the characters and indeed the players know about the World of Darkness and its history, introducing them to alternate things that may have happened, or indeed did happen but were covered up later. Did the Bruiser actually know that they cooperated with Baali in Carthage? Well, it's hard to believe they didn't. And who is the actual sire of Clan Baali? Baali player characters. This is in my opinion the best way to use Baali in a chronicle. Nothing beats the epic role-playing moment when a player corrupts another without the player or the character realizing it until they actually end up being an apostate. And I had quite some very fun experiences in my groups with Baali player characters that slowly corrupted the entire coterie with nobody noticing until it was too late. However, you kinda have to check with players if they are okay with things happening to the characters first, because that can kind of suck. Baali are also the perfect tools to show the corruption of Khainite society from within, in special with the Order of the Worm within Clan Tremere. And last but not least, Baali make perfect villains, having many unique skills with Daimonion that really make them stand out, from instantly knowing your greatest fears and desires to being immune to fire or summoning actual elder gods onto earth. Not to mention they can cause mass hysteria and violence eruptions in the city and curse a character permanently, maybe lowering your humanity rating or making you ugly as, well, a Nosferatu. More importantly though, you can play with the ability to cross over certain disciplines. As example, if you have Daimonion 1 and instantly know what people you deal with fear the most, and you play as Ravnos Apostate and can make those fears real, well, let's just say that highly impacts your ability to use chemistry against your enemies. Not to mention the path of Hellfire's absolute annihilation, given that the Hellfire is not just fire, but it's actual magical fire, being much stronger than mundane fire and thus the ultimate vampire killer. With this, I think we should end tonight's visit of the Sanguine Archives. I hope you enjoyed the travel and learned something. If you want to help me out, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. It really helps a lot and I would appreciate it. Thank you and good night.